Well, I'm at Terrigal Haven. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Beautiful part of the world here. As we continue the subject, the relationship matrix. And when I say matrix, that's what it is. It can be very, very complicated. For the most part, relationships start off with everyone making a wholehearted effort, all excited and all new and fresh, and everything's going along fine. And then, just by human nature, we seem to start to fade. And that means that if you're starting a relationship in an unauthentic way, and this is what a lot of people do, they run on their emotions and end up in limerence, only to find out that their authentic person doesn't match with the person they're with. And that's where the trouble starts, and that's where it gets complicated and horrible, and all the stuff that can happen. Because our authenticity is hard to face. For the most part, a lot of us, I know it might not sound true, but for the most part, a lot of us don't even like ourselves. So if you're starting from a place of unresolved within yourself, which is what a lot of these talks have been about, then you're going to expose yourself at one point or another in your authentic self, and that's going to reveal your unauthentic way in which you've been trying to navigate the relationship. And this can turn around to bite you, and it can bite you hard, and it can hurt. And so for the most part, if we're being unauthentic, let's face it, we're betraying ourselves, because we're putting ourselves in a situation where our authenticity doesn't want us to be. So unauthentic characterization, making our character act in an unauthentic way to find acceptance, is setting ourselves up for failure. And it's setting ourselves up for failure in an unnecessary way. And it's not only going to do that, it's also setting the other person up for failure as well, because your authenticity will betray your unauthenticity. And then it comes down to people trying to make massive adjustments for reality. And a lot of people say this is the end of the honeymoon period, but it's not. It's people that are starting off with an unauthentic person, an unauthentic part of themselves, only to find that when their authenticity does reveal itself, and it will, that they've put themselves in an unmatched situation where the person that they're with bonded to the unauthentic presentation of themselves, and then is alarmed or shocked or needing some kind of an explanation as to the authentic aspects of a person. And this is where people don't believe in themselves, or something's happened to them, or they've been criticized or something like this. It's very hard for somebody to accept that you believe in them. And you can spend a lot of your time trying to convince somebody that, it doesn't matter about your past. It doesn't matter as long as you've learned from your mistakes. It doesn't matter what you've done. I can love you from this day forward, and we can produce and get stronger and build a nice, strong relationship. But, self-esteem's a very complex part of human nature. And if we only knew how complex it is and how difficult it is to manage, and how much effort it takes, and having a pure heart and all this stuff, and a right spirit, we need to be in the right place with God, I believe, because His Spirit will come in and reveal things to us that aren't what we would otherwise be able to understand. He will show us, he will help us. That's what he's good at, and that's what he does. That's what the Holy Spirit does. He leads us, he guides us, he teaches us. Not just about God, but about ourselves as well. And so it's a constant day-by-day work. I was talking to a man yesterday at Gosford. He's had his arm chopped off, and just had his big toe chopped off. The big toe was a circulation poisoning problem, and the arm, I'm not sure exactly what happened to his arm. I didn't want to ask. But, the way life's treated him, and the way life has pushed him around, and he's allowed that to happen through his choices, has taught him a lot, and I could listen to what he was saying and learn from his wisdom. But life can rob us from so many wonderful opportunities and things, and we have to learn on a day-by-day basis what's valuable to us, how to look after the things that we value, and how not to find ourselves in a situation where we're going to lose the ones possibly that we love, or find that we're making things difficult, at least making things difficult when we really don't need to or should. So authenticity is a big thing, and I guess authenticity starts with ourselves. If we can't find a way of looking in, see, a lot of people wish they could make it right with themselves, and we seek out ways in which we can do that, but it takes incredible humility and sometimes mostly pain and loss. It's not until we've really lost things that we value and things that mean a lot to us that we come to that place of realization and stop and come to that place where you're sorry, and not just regretful, but really sorry, and you want to change those aspects of ourself that hurt and maim. And it's not just the big hurting and maiming parts, it's the little things as well, where people are sensitive to things and our senses in our unauthenticity isn't aligning with theirs. And if you put two unauthentic people together and try and work that out, then wow. So authenticity, being grounded in ourselves and being honest with ourselves, that's where everything starts. It starts from the inside out. And that's what these talks have been about. That's what these lectures have been about. Being honest with yourself, which is the hardest thing of all to do. And being honest with yourself, then you'll be honest with the person that you're with. And people sense that. Sometimes honesty hurts. Sometimes the truth hurts. It's not meant to, but it just does. But if you're being authentic and your truth is real, the other person will understand that, and the other person will respond to that positively, and it'll work the other way as well. But authenticity, knowing who you are, knowing what you believe in, and being transparent with that and honest with that, so that the person that you're with is able to flourish through your honesty and integrity, because that's where everything works. It doesn't work through swapping and changing and how many people you can have. That's not what we're designed for, and that affects society and families and all the other important things of life that we need to keep and protect. It's a matter of being the best person that you can be, the most honest person that you can be with yourself, and then taking that and sharing it with the person that you love, the person that's your partner. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist at Terrigal on the Central Coast, New South Wales. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.